Welcome back, everybody, to the Irish Fury, and I am the Irish Fury. Um, so, just going to throw in my. I can just get the. Just try and get the exposure correct. So, just to tell you a story about a friend of mine. This guy that. Um, Sorry. So anyway, this guy was a busker, and he used to and still plays African drumming, djembe, you know. And he was out busking. He'd go out busking regularly, and he was into the whole African vibe, you know. He was into the whole. He had a kind of a, what would you say, kind of a spirituality around Africa, you know. So, and he liked the whole fact that it was all earthy and all this kind of stuff, and he's a very good drummer. I mean, he really knew his rhythms, the different rhythms of the different types of music from the different ethnic groups in African countries. And basically, he was out busking one evening, and some guy passed by and threw in €1,000, €1,000 into his drum bag, and he took that €1,000 and he went to Africa. He actually went to Africa. I forget which country he went to. Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, when he went, it was nothing like what he thought it would be. What he found was that they all saw him as a white man, as a European. They saw him as a walking ATM. So they were constantly, strangers would come up to him, trying to kind of, wrangle kind of like money out of them, and offering their wares, and constantly offering different things that they had produced, created, or sold, that they sell and sold themselves. And so he was constantly being approached for people to buy their stuff there, constantly. And it completely changed his view of his romantic sentimentalism around the whole African thing. And I just think in terms of, we say, how Irish people and how Irishmen are giving away their country because of their indoctrination through watching television. Like if you had watched the Late Late Show, the toy show, there were two half African children on it. There were two children who weren't fully of Irish heritage. And this is more of the programming, more of the conditioning. A friend even told me there was something to do with the Pfizer vaccine being mentioned and talked about, discussed on it. You've got to understand something about television. It's all conditioning. It's all conditioning. I was looking up and reading about and watching some videos on Edward Bernays today. There are a couple of interviews with Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he became known as the father of public relations. And I say public relations in inverted commas because it's basically Machiavellian manipulation of populations and how to control them, their thinking and their perspective through media. So, and go look at the interview. There's a magnificent, more than a half-hour long interview with him on YouTube. So you should definitely check that out. I'll put a link to it in my Telegram. But the point is that all Irish people who give themselves wholeheartedly to media, to television, to newspapers, to the radio, to Netflix. Oh, that was the other thing I didn't mention. Edward Bernays' it's either great-grandson or grandnephew, is the co-founder of Netflix. Okay? So the co-founder of Netflix, his great granduncle, no, or his granduncle, sorry, not great, his granduncle was the man who actually set in stone how to use the media, the modern media, to manipulate and control mass populations and their minds. This is the co-founder of Netflix. Get rid of it all. I keep saying it to everybody. Grow your own food. Have large families. Get like-minded individuals as your community. And get a skill. Get really good at it. And share it with that community. And, you know what I'm saying. So, I find it amazing that, like, it's like living in the land of the Walking Dead. That I talk to Irish people and they believe it's their duty and purpose to give up their land, their women, to foreign nationals, darker skinned people who are coming in here. That is what's being pushed in Netflix. That's what's being pushed in the media. That's what's being pushed in advertising. And women will just go towards where they believe that authority is telling them to go to. If they have no other authority, that's where they will go to. Propaganda is always aimed at women. It's always aimed at women. It's never aimed at men. Not really. Very small percentage. But maybe some mind melters are. But on average, something like 70 to 80% of media programming, advertising, and propaganda is aimed at women. And I find it amazing that Irish men just give up their land, give up their mating rights in their own land to their beautiful women and say, well, here's a dark-skinned man. We've been told this is the next generation. This is human beings 2.0. We must give it all up to them. I just find it incredible that they do that. Anyway, that's my rant for this evening. Again, no hatred involved here. I hate nobody. Nobody has hurt me. Nobody's hurt my family. So there is no hatred involved. This is my disclaimer. All right, have a good evening.